What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, March 29th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:15 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in on this Good Friday. So, last night, two Russian missiles crossed into Moldova, and there was a massive Russian missile strike on Ukraine. Apparently, 10 Russian Tu 95 Bear bombers were involved in this attack on Ukraine last night, and we were monitoring it live. And during that attack, two missiles crossed into Moldova, and Romania has announced that they found the debris of a Russian suicide drone near the village of Brela, 23 kilometers into Romania. It's the fifth Russian suicide drone to crash in Romania since the war in Ukraine started. And here we actually have some video footage of Romanian police and Romanian army doing an investigation here. And apparently, this drone crashed on a farm, as you can see. So nobody got injured, but it's just a matter of time before one of these drones crashes into a Romanian city and kills a bunch of people. And then we're going to go to war with Russia. So this is very, very serious, guys. And during the missile attack last night on Ukraine, it was reported that hypersonic missiles were used to hit targets in western Ukraine, particularly Lviv, and Dnipro was hit hard with multiple missiles. Russia attacked the Kremenchuk hydroelectric power plant with two Iskander ballistic missiles launched from Crimea. Zelensky confirmed that the Dniester and Kanivska hydroelectric power plant were hit, and there were also three thermal power plants operated by the Ukrainian power company DTEK that were hit as well, causing significant damage. So, in the strike last night, Russia targeted a lot of power plants, specifically hydroelectric power plants and thermal power plants. It's interesting that they're targeting these power plants in the springtime. And Poland has announced that they're suspending their participation in the Conventional Forces Europe Treaty. And if you don't know what this treaty is, it was signed at the end of the Cold War. A popular antivirus company has just been fined $16 million because its privacy software was secretly being used to sell user data. For years, this antivirus software company harvested user information without their consent while tricking the users into thinking they were using privacy software. That's why I've been protecting my data with Virtual Shield 1. Thanks to Virtual Shield 1, my data is monitored and protected from data breaches, advertisers, tech giants, and cyber criminals. This advanced identity theft protection suite provides 24/7 peace of mind and security. It's easy to use, and if you use the link in the description below this video, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper, you can save over 50% and get a 60-day risk-free trial. This includes unlimited bandwidth, anonymous browsing, and fast internet speeds across all of your devices. So use the link in the description below this video, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper, to get a huge discount and a 60-day risk-free trial on Virtual Shield 1 identity theft protection. And during the Cold War, between European countries and Russia, that limited the number of troops they could have deployed, and they would have to tell the other side what kind of troops they have and how many tanks they have and where they are. And so now Poland is free to basically build up as many troops as they want, as many tanks as they want, as much artillery as they want. We know that Russia already suspended their participation in the Conventional Forces Europe Treaty last year. So it's only logical that Poland would do the same thing. And we have some very concerning statements coming from the Prime Minister of Poland. He said earlier today, a new era is beginning, the pre-war era. I know it sounds overwhelming, especially for the younger generation, but we need to get used to the fact that a new era has begun, the pre-war era. I don't want to scare anyone, but war is no longer a concept from the past. Every day it becomes clearer. The war is real and it started more than 2 years ago. Okay, so looks like Poland is preparing for the worst, and I've been sharing a lot of information about what's been going on in Belarus for the last 2 weeks. And if you missed my updates over the last 2 days, basically the Belarusian president, Lukashenko, is planning to attack Lithuania and possibly Poland. He paid a visit to one of his brigades that are stationed just a few miles from the Lithuanian border, and he met one of his commanders where he talked about attacking the Baltics and taking a part of Poland for the Suwalki corridor to make a land bridge from Kaliningrad to Belarus. And Belarus has put one of their mechanized brigades right on the border with Lithuania, and they put that mechanized brigade on wartime status. And that mechanized brigade has hundreds of BMPs, BTRs, and T 72s, and they're literally just a few miles from the Lithuanian border. Now, what's very concerning is Lithuania has like no protection in that area, okay? Really, the only major military bases in Lithuania are in Alytus, which is pretty far from the capital, Vilnius, and then also in Kaunas, there's a big NATO detachment or battalion there. But if, let's say, Belarus wanted to just go straight for the capital of Lithuania, which is Vilnius, they only have 20 miles to get there. Okay, Vilnius is like 20 miles from the Belarusian border, and there's literally a highway that goes straight into Vilnius, and there's no military presence in between Vilnius and the Belarus border. Okay, so it's wide open. Everybody's been talking about the Suwalki Gap, and maybe that's all just a big head fake, and Lukashenko wants us to think that he's going for the Suwalki Gap. He's going to attack Poland. He's going to try to make a land bridge to Kaliningrad, but in reality, maybe he's just going to go right for the capital, Vilnius, which is literally just 20 miles from the border of Belarus, and there's no protection there. Literally, there's no NATO regiments there. The nearest NATO regiments, like I said, are in Alytus and Kaunas, which are out of the way, completely different direction. And as far as I know, Lithuania doesn't really have many forces of their own to protect Vilnius from the Belarus direction. So it's basically wide open. Okay. And so I think that Lukashenko could potentially just go right for the capital and try to take the capital. And he would do that simultaneously with Russia launching a massive new offensive in Ukraine, which, by the way, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, said that starting the end of May and into June, Russia is going to launch a massive new offensive in Ukraine. And this could be even bigger than the initial attack on Ukraine. Okay, Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister, said 2 weeks ago that they're making two new ground armies with 16 divisions and 14 brigades, which should amount to up to 750,000 troops. I don't know if they're all going to go into Ukraine, but it looks like Russia's planning a huge offensive that could be 2 to 3 times larger than the initial offensive. Okay, so I'm going to be covering all of this live. When it all goes down, I will be covering it live 24/7. Okay, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're getting notifications. And Israel launched unprecedented airstrikes in Syria near Aleppo on a weapons depot belonging to Hezbollah. At least 36 Syrian soldiers and 50 Iranian soldiers were killed. And the Russian Foreign Ministry said today that the Israeli airstrikes on Syria are unacceptable and such actions are provocative. And Russia is now saying that the shooters in the concert hall attack in Moscow drove towards the border with Ukraine to arrive in Kiev for a reward. This was stated by the investigation committee. And yesterday, Russia said that they have proven the connection between the Moscow terrorists and Ukrainian nationalists. Russia's investigative committee said it had uncovered evidence that the gunmen that killed more than 150 people at the concert hall are linked to Ukrainian nationalists. Apparently, the Ukrainian nationalists or Ukrainian government gave these terrorists cash and cryptocurrency in significant amounts for this attack. That's what the Russians are saying. And they're saying that they have examined technical devices that they've seized from the terrorists, and they've analyzed financial transactions, and they now have evidence that basically Ukraine was paying these terrorists with crypto and cash to do this attack. So we're going to see a huge escalation soon, guys. I'm telling you, get prepared. And the Kazakhstan embassy in Ukraine has called on its citizens to leave Kharkiv and Odessa as soon as possible. And we know that Kazakhstan is part of the Russian CSTO. That's like the Russian NATO. So Kazakhstan obviously has inside information, being that they're an ally of Russia. So it looks like Russia is going to be going after Kharkiv and Odessa. We also have some disturbing news coming out of Kharkiv. The mayor of Kharkiv is considering a mandatory evacuation of areas just to the north of Kharkiv. We are considering Bogudakivsky and Kharkivsky district in order to announce a mandatory evacuation there. Okay, and we know that in Odessa they've been building up defense lines like crazy. I showed some video footage of that yesterday. They put up thousands of the dragon teeth on the outskirts of Odessa. So Ukraine is very worried that Russia could make a move on Odessa. And the Russian city of Belgorod was shelled in the early hours of March 29th, damaging apartment buildings. Residents reported loud noises in the region at around 3 a.m. local time, and photos and videos circulated on social media showing damaged apartments. Residents said shrapnel had broken the windows in several units. Belgorod Oblast Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov issued a missile warning for the region at around 1:49 a.m. local time. Gladkov later claimed that 17 buildings and 12 cars in the city were damaged, supposedly no casualties. So I don't know if these are the Russian rebels. I don't know if this was from Ukraine. I don't know if Russia's shelling their own city as a possible false flag. Okay, but the shelling in Belgorod is continuing. Okay, 17 buildings apparently were hit. This is huge, guys, okay? And Russian sources are claiming that Ukrainian forces are in a panic, building a second line of defense near Orakov on the Zaporizhia front line. And French intelligence services recommend canceling the Olympics opening ceremony due to terrorist attack threat. This was reported by Europe One radio station. And the U.S. has not transferred Patriot systems to Ukraine, according to Zelensky in an interview he did with CBS. He said, "We are very grateful for the United States for everything, but one very serious point is that the Patriot systems located in our country did not come from the United States." Wow, interesting. And there were a series of huge kabooms to the north of Gaza last night as a result of a massive Israeli artillery and airstrike. And this is separate from the strikes in Aleppo. And the Russian Federation has deployed its own naval task force to the Red Sea in support of the Yemen Houthi rebels. And Polish security services said Thursday they had raided a Russian spy network in cooperation with Czech intelligence. So Poland and Czech Republic raided some kind of Russian spy network. And Serbian channels are claiming that Kosovo security forces are building up defensive lines near the border with Serbia. So Kosovo is building defensive lines on the border with Serbia, guys. I'm telling you, this is all going to kick off at the same time. Belarus is going to go for Vilnius in Lithuania. Serbia is going to go for Kosovo and Bosnia. And then Russia is going to launch their big offensive in Ukraine. And then Israel is going to go for Rafah and then eventually Hezbollah in Lebanon. And then possibly Asia could kick off at the same time. So we have a lot of things going on this year. And I think it's all going to happen in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned to my channel for continuing updates and live coverage when all this kicks off. I will go live 24/7. And I want to just show you guys what we have in the air this afternoon over the U.S. We currently have 3 Boeing E-6B Mercury nuclear war command and control planes in the air. These planes are responsible for remotely launching all of our Minuteman III ICBMs. So our nuclear forces are on high alert, and yesterday there was some video footage that came out of Siberia showing Russian mobile ICBMs being moved out of their garages and dispersed to the countryside with snow camo netting being placed on them. So I don't know if this means that Russia has already dispersed their mobile launchers, the RS-24 Yars, or if that was just an exercise. I don't know. But it was filmed by Russian state media and released yesterday. So Russian nuclear forces are on high alert. We also had multiple Russian doomsday planes fly east towards Siberia very late last night. And at the same time, there were a bunch of emergency action messages going off like crazy. Emergency action messages are nuclear attack options that are broadcasted to U.S. nuclear forces from Strategic Command and the Pentagon. And also we had, here's some more of the Russian doomsday planes you could see going east to Siberia. And also we had this Russian transport plane go to Kaliningrad. This is the second time we've seen this in the past week. There was one of these planes in the air like 3 days ago, I think. So they're definitely moving equipment to Kaliningrad in preparation for this war against Lithuania, possibly the Suwalki Gap. I don't know, guys, but this is very suspicious. And then we also had multiple aerial refuelers take off from Wichita, Kansas late last night, in the middle of the night, which is extremely strange. And I do believe that there were some bombers or maybe fighter jets that crossed the Atlantic with these aerial refuelers. It's just really strange to have 4 of them take off at the same time. Usually they accompany bombers or fighter jets. So we're definitely moving equipment into Europe. There was also a P-8 Poseidon patrolling just south of Taiwan last night. This is a sub-hunter plane, so patrolling the Taiwan Strait there. And then we had more reconnaissance over South Korea along the DMZ. And we also had 2 earthquakes strike Greece today, a 5.8 and a 6.0, which is pretty interesting. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. And I might be back later with another update. I'm not 100% sure yet. And I will try to do some updates tomorrow. But I don't think on Sunday I'll do any updates because it's Easter Sunday. So that's pretty much it, though. Have a good Friday. And I hope you spend some time with your family this Easter. And remember the reason for Easter. It's because Jesus Christ suffered and died for our sins. He was crucified for our sins. And until next time, take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day. Breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video.